Video opens with dramatic, sweeping aerial shots of the Atlantic Ocean, perhaps with a subtle, ominous sound design, distant foghorns, a low hum, text on screen. The Bermuda Triangle. History's vanished ships. Narrator. Across a vast, enigmatic stretch of the Atlantic, an area of ocean has captured the human imagination for centuries. It's a place where the rational gives way to the terrifying, where ships and aircraft vanish without a trace, leaving behind only questions and chilling legends. This is the Bermuda Triangle, a notorious zone of mystery, fear, and unparalleled speculation. But what truly lies beneath its deceptively calm surface? Is it a nexus of supernatural forces, a gateway to another dimension, or simply a stage for the ocean's most brutal realities? Today, we delve into the gripping history of the Bermuda Triangle, examining the most infamous disappearances, the theories that have sought to explain them, and the enduring allure of one of history's greatest maritime puzzles. Join us as we navigate the treacherous waters of fact and fiction, seeking to understand the enduring enigma that is the Devil's Triangle. Visual. Animated map highlighting the approximate boundaries of the Bermuda Triangle, connecting Bermuda, Miami, and San Juan, Puerto Rico. Narrator. The term, Bermuda Triangle, itself is a relatively modern invention, coined by author Vincent Gaddis in a 1964 Argosy magazine article titled, The Deadly Bermuda Triangle. However, the stories of strange occurrences in this region predate the moniker by centuries. One of the earliest accounts, though often embellished, comes from none other than Christopher Columbus. On his first voyage to the New World in 1492, Columbus reportedly observed a great flame of fire, crashing into the sea and, later, unusual light in the distance. He also noted peculiar compass readings, describing how his navigation instruments behaved erratically. While these observations can be attributed to meteors, human fatigue, and the difference between magnetic and true north, they set an early precedent for the region's mystique. For centuries, mariners traversing these waters faced the perils common to all oceans: fierce hurricanes, treacherous reefs, and the sheer vastness of the sea. But as technology advanced, and ships became more robust, the inexplicable disappearances began to garner greater attention, transforming isolated incidents into a perceived pattern. Visual. Archival photographs of the USS Cyclops, perhaps a drawing of its last known position. Narrator. Our journey into the Triangle's modern mysteries begins in March 1918. With one of the greatest non-combat losses in U.S. naval history, the disappearance of the USS Cyclops. This colossal collier, a 165-meter-long vessel designed to refuel ships at sea, was carrying a full cargo of manganese ore and over 300 souls, 306 crew and passengers, when it departed Barbados for Baltimore. It was last seen on the 4th of March 1918. Despite extensive searches, no distress signal was ever received, and no wreckage, no lifeboats, no bodies were ever found. It simply vanished. The U.S. Navy conducted an exhaustive investigation, concluding that the disappearance of this vessel has been one of the most baffling mysteries in the annals of the Navy. No reasonable hypothesis has ever been advanced to account for her disappearance. Historical fact 1. **** The USS Cyclops was the largest ship in the U.S. Navy not lost in combat until the sinking of the USS Arizona at Pearl Harbor. Some theories suggest structural failure due to its heavy ore cargo, a possible mutiny, or even a German U-boat attack, despite the lack of evidence. But for many, its complete and utter disappearance solidified the Bermuda Triangle's sinister reputation. Visual. Black and white footage or stills of World War II-era Avenger torpedo bombers. Perhaps a map showing Florida coastline and the Bahamas. Narrator. Fast forward to the 5th of December 1945. And we encounter perhaps the most iconic and frequently cited incident of the Bermuda Triangle. The loss of Flight 19. 5 U.S. Navy TBM Avenger torpedo bombers. On a routine navigation training exercise from Naval Air Station Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Vanished without a trace. The flight, led by experienced pilot Lieutenant Charles C. Taylor, was meant to be a simple 2-hour mission to drop practice bombs at a target, then return. But something went terribly wrong. Around 15:45 local time, Taylor reported that both his compasses were out and he was lost communications with ground control. Became increasingly confused and desperate. Taylor believed he was over the Florida Keys, but ground control placed him far out over the Atlantic, east of the Bahamas. The weather, initially clear, began to deteriorate. Radio transmissions indicated increasing panic, with pilots discussing running out of fuel and making a ditching. The last coherent message from Flight 19 was heard around 1904. Visual. Dramatic illustration of a seaplane. Perhaps a Martin Mariner, flying over rough seas at night. Narrator. But the tragedy didn't end there. A Martin Mariner flying boat, a large PBM patrol bomber, was dispatched from Naval Air Station Banana River to search for Flight 19. This aircraft, with a crew of 13, also vanished. It was a plane known to emit flammable gasoline vapors, and a nearby ship reported seeing an explosion in the sky around the time the Mariner would have been in the area. While this provides a plausible explanation for the Mariner, Flight 19's disappearance remains deeply unsettling. Historical fact 2. The official Navy report on Flight 19 initially attributed the loss to causes or reasons unknown, leading to the popularization of supernatural theories. The report was later amended to unknown causes to avoid blaming the flight leader. Visual. Archival footage or stills of British South American Airways (BSAA) aircraft. Perhaps the Star Tiger or Star Ariel. Narrator. Just a few years later, the British aviation industry was rocked by two eerily similar disappearances. In January 1948, the British South American Airways (BSAA) airliner, Star Tiger, an Avro Tudor IV aircraft, was en route from Santa Maria in the Azores to Bermuda, with 25 passengers and 6 crew on board. It was expected to land in Bermuda early on the morning of the 30th of January. The pilot, Captain B.W. Macmillan, reported his position and estimated time of arrival. Then, silence. Despite an extensive air and sea search, no trace of the aircraft or its occupants was ever found. The Chief Inspector of Accidents for the Ministry of Civil Aviation, Air Marshal Sir John W. Slessor, concluded that no trace has been found of the aircraft or any of the passengers or crew. The fate of Star Tiger must remain an unsolved mystery. Less than a year later, in January 1949, another BSAA Avro Tudor IV, the Star Ariel, vanished. This time, it was en route from Bermuda to Kingston, Jamaica, carrying 13 passengers and 7 crew. Again, a routine flight, a clear weather report. And then, without warning, utter silence. No distress call, No wreckage. Nothing. 2 identical aircraft from the same airline vanishing in similar circumstances within the Bermuda Triangle area. The sense of dread was palpable. Historical fact 3. The Star Tiger and Star Ariel disappearances prompted the British government to ban the Avro Tudor IV for passenger service, though the aircraft itself was not found to be at fault. Visual stills of the SS Marine Sulphur Queen. Perhaps a depiction of its sinking? Narrator. The disappearances weren't limited to the skies. In February 1963, the SS Marine Sulphur Queen, a tanker carrying a cargo of molten sulfur and a crew of 39, departed Beaumont, Texas, bound for Norfolk, Virginia. It was last heard from on the 4th of February, reporting good weather and its position off the Florida Keys. Then, nothing. A massive air and sea search ensued, covering over 340,000 square miles. All that was ever found were a few life jackets, a life buoy, and a fragmented name board. The U.S. Coast Guard investigation concluded that the ship was unfit for sea, and lost with all hands, probably due to structural failure. But the precise circumstances of its end remain unknown. Its sudden disappearance, without a distress signal, added another chilling chapter to the Triangle's lore. So, what could possibly explain such a consistent pattern of vanishing acts? The theories are as varied as they are imaginative. Visual animation showing methane bubbles rising from the seabed, or a rogue wave forming? Narrator. Scientific and natural explanations often point to the unique geographical and meteorological features of the region. One prominent theory involves methane hydrates. The seabed in areas of the Triangle is known to contain vast deposits of methane gas, trapped in ice-like structures called clathrates. If these deposits are disturbed, perhaps by seismic activity, the methane can be released in massive bubbles. A ship caught in such a bubble would lose buoyancy and sink incredibly rapidly, potentially without time to send a distress signal. An aircraft flying through a sudden release of methane could experience engine failure due to the gas displacing oxygen. Another powerful force at play here is the weather. The Bermuda Triangle is notoriously prone to sudden, violent storms and hurricanes. These can generate immense rogue waves, walls of water far taller than typical storm waves, capable of swamping even large vessels in an instant. The powerful Gulf Stream also flows through the area, creating strong, fast currents that can quickly disperse wreckage, making recovery efforts incredibly difficult. Historical fact 4. The deepest part of the Atlantic Ocean. The Puerto Rico Trench, which plunges over 8,300 meters, lies within the general vicinity of the Bermuda Triangle. This immense depth makes recovery of any wreckage incredibly challenging, if not impossible. Visual. Compass needle spinning wildly. Perhaps a graphic showing magnetic anomalies. Narrator. Magnetic anomalies are also frequently cited. The Bermuda Triangle is one of only 2 places on Earth where a compass points to true north rather than magnetic north, while navigators are trained to account for this magnetic declination. A moment of confusion or equipment failure could lead to catastrophic navigational errors, especially in poor visibility. Some researchers also suggest localized magnetic variations or electromagnetic fog could interfere with instruments and even human perception, leading to disorientation. Beyond these natural phenomena, human error always plays a significant role in maritime and aviation incidents. miscalculation, miscommunication, mechanical failure, and poor decision-making under stress are common factors in accidents globally. The sheer volume of traffic through the Bermuda Triangle, it's one of the busiest shipping lanes in the world, naturally means a higher number of incidents, regardless of any perceived mystery. Visual montage of newspaper headlines about the Bermuda Triangle. Book covers by Charles Berlitz. Perhaps a shot of a busy port. Narrator. The popularization of the Bermuda Triangle as a supernatural enigma largely began with Vincent Gaddis's 1964 article and truly exploded with Charles Berlitz's 1974 bestseller, The Bermuda Triangle. Berlitz's book compiled many of the famous disappearances, often embellishing details and ignoring plausible explanations, presenting them as evidence of an unexplained force. His sensationalist approach, though highly entertaining, cemented the supernatural narrative in public consciousness. Critics, most notably Larry Kush in his 1975 book, The Bermuda Triangle Mystery, Solved, meticulously debunked many of Berlitz's claims. Kush pointed out that many incidents occurred outside the commonly accepted boundaries of the triangle, that some ships and planes were not lost without a trace but had known mundane explanations, and that others were simply never reported as missing. He argued that the rate of disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle was no higher than in any other heavily trafficked ocean area, once the sensationalism was stripped away. Historical fact 5. Larry Kush's research revealed that in many cases, vessels reported lost in the Bermuda Triangle were actually found, or their disappearances had clear, non-mysterious explanations that were omitted from popular accounts. Visual. Calm ocean waves. Then perhaps a time-lapse of a modern cargo ship sailing across the ocean. Narrator. So, what are we left with? A region of the ocean that is undoubtedly challenging, prone to extreme weather, and traversed by countless vessels and aircraft. While the allure of the unknown is powerful, scientific investigation and critical analysis suggest that the Bermuda Triangle is not a realm of alien abduction or time warps, but rather a testament to the raw power of nature, the fallibility of human technology, and the enduring human desire to find patterns and meaning in unexplained events. The stories of the USS Cyclops, Flight 19, the Star Tiger, and countless others serve as poignant reminders of the inherent dangers of sea and air travel. Even in our modern age, they are a tribute to the explorers and adventurers who push the boundaries of human endeavor, sometimes paying the ultimate price. The Bermuda Triangle, therefore, stands not as a supernatural anomaly, but as a powerful metaphor for the vastness of our oceans and the profound respect they demand. Visual. Final shot of a vast, open ocean, perhaps with a sunset or sunrise. Fade to black with title card and credits. Narrator. The mystery may be solved for many, but the legend continues to fascinate. And perhaps that's precisely why the Bermuda Triangle endures, as a thrilling, chilling narrative woven into the fabric of our collective history. A constant reminder that even in an age of science, the ocean still holds its secrets close. Video ends.